Hey there everybody, Mazrock here, and today we have the Brewmaster Class and Spec tree that we're going to be going over. I'm going to be giving my initial thoughts, how I kind of see things moving forward, and all of that fun stuff. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm flabbergasted by all the support that everyone's been giving me. Thank you so much. If you wish to have any more Brewmaster discussion or discussion about any of the tanks or anything about World of Warcraft that you see, there's a Discord link down below, which you can join, and full of wonderful people that are just, rip road ready to help, and it's just such a great place to be. There's a Twitch link down below if you want to watch me stream, and Patreon link down below as well if you wish to support me directly. So let's get into the class tree first. So as a Brewmaster, you're going to be starting with Tiger's Lust. It's a current talent that we have now. It is currently on the roll with like an extra charge of roll and Serenity, I think. I usually just take Tiger's Lust and kind of set it and forget it, but Chi Torpedo, that's it. So this is actually really nice to be able to start off with, especially with what's further down the tree as we get to it. Windwalker seems to be the middle of this tree, which starts, which you can opt into Rising Sun Kick, which is actually very nice for Brewmaster to get. And Soothing Mist seems to be the Mistweaver left side of the tree. So lots of good options there. I'm not going to be doing a build or anything with this today. So if you see me take any talents, it's strictly so I can go down and they can light up and stuff like that. It's really not towards anything specific. Just below to the left here, you have Roll, so you get an additional charge of Roll or Chi Torpedo. Yep, Chi Torpedo's back in. In the middle, we have Calming Presence, which reduces all damage taken by 3%, which is one talent node, which is kind of weird that it's in right below Rising Sun Kick, but I mean, a 3% DR is a 3% DR. Paralysis, next to the Brewmaster. I like how they're giving the utility to the Brewmaster on the right, which is really nice. And below that one, there's the Paralysis cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. Very nice. Disable reduces the target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. The duration is refreshed by your melee attacks. This... hyper niche uses in PvE, I could definitely see this being more of a PvP ability. Detox, remove all poisons and disease effects from the target, very nice. Vivify, I like how this one here, so Vivify I do believe is baseline, and for 2 points, you can increase its healing by 40%. I would rather see this be 20-40 than just 1, but I mean, I guess it's just me. I hate talent points where the second talent point doesn't do anything more aside from unlock a talent node underneath. But, yeah. Heavy Air increases the range of Crackling Jade Lightning by 10 yards, and Tiger Tail Sweep increases the range of Light Sweep by 2 yards and reduces the cooldown by 10 seconds. This is currently a talent on live. Nice to have. Lots of utility in this first little bit, and Brewmasters are getting access to Rising Sun Kick, which is going to be a lot of fun. We have Grace of the Crane right underneath Heavy Air here, which increases all healing done, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a total of only 2%. See, I don't like that it should be 1 and 2 or 2 and 4. Like, it's not going to break the game if it's 4%, like, whatever. This one I really like, though. Vivify is now instant cast. There's a lot of times where I like using Vivify where I can to help out healers and things like that, but the cast time is rather difficult to pull off at times, so being able to increase the healing by 40% and have an instant cast time, you're really going to be able to help off-heal as a Brewmaster. I'm not going through this as a Mistweaver or a Windwalker. I am looking at this through the lens of a Brewmaster, so please do note that. But I really, really like this as a Brewmaster. I do like the option to have this to help off-heal. Then we have Ferocity of Zwen, which increases all damage dealt by a total of 2%. Yeah, see, I don't... Why am I putting 2 points into something and only getting 1 point value out of it? Like, Like, here I could go here, like, but to get the instant Vivify, you need the second point. It just... Things like that just kind of feel bad. But, yeah, that is what it is, right? On the left side here, we have Elusive Mist, so it reduces the damage taken while channeling Soothing Mist by 3 and 6%. I don't see Brewmasters, like, right now I like taking Soothing Mist because it is an option after, for bursting sacks and things like that, to help off-heal after the pole's dead, and I do like having the additional charge of roll, but you can absolutely opt out of this to... no problem at all, right? It's not the biggest deal. But you reduce the damage taken while channeling Soothing Mist. Maybe that 6% is actually useful during heavy bursting stacks or things like that. You might be able to help live a pull. There's definitely some options for things like this to kind of work. Or if you need to spot target someone to help keep them alive and you can actually do it and you'd have a 6% DR extra. There's definitely some niche uses where this could be useful. Then we have Transcendence, which is always very nice to see. Yep, there we go. Transcendence. Yep. Woo! Spearhand Strike. Sorry, this is actually my second coffee. I just made it, so I'm a little tired in the morning. We have our kick, Spearhand Strike, and Fortifying Brew. Now, we're gonna see a rotating, well, kind of like a recurring thing with Fortifying Brew, and I'll talk about that as we start seeing it. So do note Fortifying Brew here. So the first talent point that you spend in this turns your skin to stone for 15 seconds, increases your current maximum health by 15%, and reduces all damage you take by 15%, as well as if, for Brewmaster, it increases the effectiveness of your stagger by 10%. Right under this is Fortifying Brew increases dodge and armor by 25%, or a choice node to increase the to reduce the cooldown by 2 minutes. This is actually kind of an interesting point. I don't see you... I mean, maybe the dodge and armor is really, really good. Maybe. But the reduced cooldown, but bringing it down to 4 minutes baseline instead of 6 minutes, could also be very, very strong for Brew. I think this is depending on the scenario and how often you need it, but is actually kind of a decent choice node. What I don't like is how much they're breaking down Fortifying Brew. In the class tree, there's another node for it, so 3 total points to get a Fortifying Brew, but there is an upgrade to it, right? Reducing the cooldown by 2 minutes is actually very, very strong and very, very good. Underneath the kick, we have Celebrity, reduces the cooldown of roll by 5 seconds and increases your maximum number of charges by 1. So it is optional to get 3 charges of roll. But there's also Chi Torpedo. So you can get Chi Torpedo, Celebrity, and Tiger's Lust. You can get either or, and then Tiger's Lust. So I actually really, really like this. I think it's a really good choice, and I like how they're adding a little bit more movement based into the class itself. Fast Feet, Rising Sun Kick deals 70% increased damage with 2 nodes, and Spinning Crane Kick deals an additional 10% damage. This is actually a really good ability and things like that. One of the things that I've noticed or heard about with Rising Sun Kick being added into the Brewmaster rotation is there can be a little bit of GCD bloat. Brewmaster already has a lot of buttons to kind of hit around, so this could be a little bit more difficult to get that Rising Sun Kick off, but we're going to see how the gameplay feels when, we can actually start testing alpha and stuff, and whenever they let me in. We have Ring of Peace, very nice. Now, this Provoke talent. Provoke targets move towards you at 50% increased speed. You already start with the taunt. This, you're just getting the movement speed added to that taunt. But, pros and cons. I don't like how you have to talent into something you already have, but there's moments where the taunt for Monk was actually detrimental, let's call it. For example, in Necrotic Wake, if you accidentally taunted one of the guys that was fixated up top in the Necropolis, that was fixated towards one of your DPS, you actually made him run 50% faster, really scaring the crap out of the DPS, which is a very funny troll move, by the way, but really not something that you wanted. So in cases, Provoke could actually be detrimental towards what you're trying to accomplish. So I can understand splitting that up, so it kind of makes sense. Like, for example, Terragru is another one, right? Where the tanks have to taunt off and kite incredibly quickly. The Brewmaster is such a disadvantage because you're making Terragru run 50% faster, which is in that one-shot execute phase. Not always what you want, so you could just not talent into that for that sort of encounter, right? Then to the left of Provoke, we have Choose One, Chi Wave, Chi Burst. I do believe this is pretty much the exact same as they kind of are in on live, but it is a good choice notes to have. I find they're a little bit more in a weird place, but I mean, kind of is what it is. This tree seems to be lacking a little bit more on the Mistweaver left side of things and has a lot more in the Windwalker Brew, as you can see by just looking at the talent choices, right? There's a lot more talent options on the right side than the left side. There's Roll Out, so this is actually... This seems like it was just kind of added in. When you roll, you're immune to roots and snares. I'm not super happy that they're taking that out of base roll. That's what I'm assuming, right? Because right now when you roll through a root and snare, you don't get that root or snare. This you actually have to talent into getting it, and that's what I'm assuming it is. So that's not fun that you already have like 3. This would be your 3rd talent point just to get roll. Now you are getting an extra charge, so you're going to be able to kind of, you know, stack things up a little bit and things like that. So there's definitely some options to be had there. But yeah, it's something that I'm hit or miss on. I'm 50-50. I don't super like this, but I don't super hate it either, but whatever, have you not? One very exciting thing coming for Brewmaster is Diffuse Magic. Now, this here, it says require Monk, Windwalker, Mistweaver. This is just a talent that they've taken from Live, and Brewmaster currently doesn't have Diffuse Magic, but it is coming. So, very, very nice to see. Reduces all damage you take by 60% for 6 magic damage, by 60% for 6 seconds, and transfers all currently harmful magical effects on you back to their original caster if possible. Chef's kiss, man. Brewmaster, I'm going to have so much fun with Diffuse Magic. So much fun. Then we have Eye of the Tiger, which is currently one of the options that we do have on Live already. Minimal damage, single target. It's a point if you want to spend it. Dampen Harm, which reduces all magic you take by 20 to 50%, depending on how large the hit is. Touch of Death. Touch of Death can now be used on targets with less than 15 health remaining, dealing 35% of your maximum health in damage. Very nice to see. Love it. Then we have Expel Harm. This is on the Brewmaster right side. So this is one that you probably already want to go down this Fortifying Brew tree anyway to get Expel Harm, especially for Mythic Plus scenarios. And, I mean, with Instant Vivify cast, you might not always need Expel Harm, but there is a lot of choice options that you can actually take in this that you're not totally bloated on, you know, you need this for throughput, right? So there's some things here that we could easily click off and get Rising Sun Kick and get different things that we need. So a lot of different options to have. Below Expel Harm is Generous Pour. You and your allies within 10 yards have 4% increased avoidance. I really like this. That is a nice little party buff. Fatal Touch. Touch of Death cooldown is reduced by a total of 120 seconds with 2 points. Oh, that's going to be so fun in Mythic Plus, guys. So fun in Mythic Plus. Then we have Windwalking. You and your allies within 10 yards have increased movement speed. This is actually kind of a weak talent node. I don't expect anybody to really take this. 4% avoidance for 2 points versus 4% increased movement speed. I know which one I'm taking. Escape from Reality. This is a new talent that seems really, really fun. After you use Transcendence Transfer, you can use Transcendence Transfer again within 10 seconds, ignoring its cooldown. During this time, if you cast Vivify on yourself, its healing is increased by 70% and 50% of its cost is refunded. So you're going to be able to kind of just, you know, hit a Transcendence, start, you know, do your pull, Transcendence back in, bam, big old Vivify off healing. There's a lot of things that you could actually probably have a lot of fun with this. I do expect some Mistweaver antics to kind of occur with this, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really like the idea of what they're doing with Escape from Reality. And to the left of that, we have Close to Heart. You and your allies within 10 yards have a total of, and if I'm not mistaken, it's 4% leech. 4% leech. So as a kind of party buff, or not even party buff, raid buff, party buff, you can give everybody, like, I honestly kind of want a Mistweaver as my healer in Dragonflight, because my Prot Warrior will be able to have 14% leech and 4% avoidance without actually having to do anything or get lucky on tertiaries. So this could be a lot of fun. I really like this. These sorts of things make me kind of happy to see. I really, they're not game breaking, but they're super nice to have. Right? Super nice to have. Underneath in the middle, so we're going to go down here towards the Mistweaver. Left side is when your healing spells heal an ally whose health is below 35% maximum health, you gain an additional 10% healing for 4 seconds. And then we have Summon Jade Serpent Statue, which summons a Jade Serpent Statue at the target location. When you channel Soothing Mist, the statue will begin channeling Soothing Mist on another target. This is... I don't see Brewmasters taking this really at all. If you are in a situation as a tank where you definitely need to help off-heal as much as possible, it could see some hyper niche, and I mean niche play, but I don't see Brewmasters really taking these two talents at all. Then we have Resonant Fist, which requires Monk. It's not yet implemented. There was something about this, but I think they're reworking it with kind of how it worked, but it did seem like something that seemed pretty decent to take, but we'll have to see what the end product is there. And Summon White Tiger Statue down the middle, which summons a White Tiger Statue at the target location for 30 seconds, and it says the tooltip says 1 damage, but it's obviously not going to just be 1 damage. Pulsing 1 damage to all enemies for every 2 seconds for 30 seconds. This is going to be a nice DPS cooldown, and I like it a lot. And then here we have Bounce Back. When a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health, reduce all damage by 0% for 4 seconds. This is obviously going to be increased up to 20%. Not 20%, but it's going to actually give you a DR, which I actually really, really like this. It's a nice thing. And then we get Summon Blackhawk Statue. Yeah, 10-second cooldown, target location, 15 minutes, pulsing threat to all enemies within 20 yards. Yeah, let's go. And you can cast Provoke on the statue to taunt all enemies near the statue. This is going to be very nice for kiting away necrotic and all of that fun stuff. So what we're going to do here is we're going to leave this as... I was thinking about maybe leaving this as a class tree, but we'll do the Brewmaster because we're already 17 minutes in, right? So, like I said, this isn't a build. I'm not saying this is what could be awesome. These are just buttons that I'm pressing, right? Keg Smash on the spec tree. Then we have Stagger, obviously, Purifying Brew, and Shuffle. So those are all things that you're going to be naturally taking and should always be having as a Brewmaster anyway, so doesn't really feel bad taking. We have Healing Elixir. Now this is one that I was I'm a little wonky on it being here, but we'll go over. To the left of that, we have Gift of the Ox. Whenever you take damage, you have a chance to summon the Healing Spheres. Hit Scheme! Yeah, Hit Scheme! Dealing damage with your Blackout Kicks increases the damage of your next Keg Smash by 10%, stacking up to 4 times. Oh, that gonna be fun. And then we have Healing Elixir in the middle, and we have Quick Sip. Purify 1% of your stagger damage each time you gain 3 seconds of shuffle duration. We're gonna have to see how that one kind of plays out. The numbers are gonna have to, dictate that one. Then we have a choice node on the far right of Rushing Jade Wind or Special Delivery. I'm just opting for Rushing Jade Wind just because I prefer it, but that's just me and it don't matter. Celestial Flames, the legendary. Drinking from brews has a 30% chance to coat the monk in flames for 6 seconds. While Celestial Flames is active, Spinning Crane Kick applies Breath of Fire, and Breath of Fire reduces damage affected enemies deal to you by 5%. You are going to have fire legs! We have Celestial Brew coming back, which is very nice, and just below it we have the Absorption to Celestial Brew. To the right here we have the first talent that I'm really not a big fan of, is when you Blackout Kick, your stagger is reduced by X amount. Now this is 50 and 100, but okay, so it's 50% attack power, 100% attack power. So this might actually not be too bad. When this first came out, it was just literally 50 and 100, and it did not specify or anything. So we'll have to see how defensive this makes you. Graceful Exit. After you successfully dodge or an enemy misses you, you gain 5% increased movement speed for 3 seconds. Very situational, very meh. Zen Med. Of course, Zen Med is coming back, man. Brewmaster is getting so many defensives. Reduce all damage taken by 60% for 8 seconds. Being hit by a melee attack or taking another action will cancel this effect. But just below it, Zen Meditation has a 25% reduced cooldown and is no longer canceled when you move or hit by melee attacks. So you can't take another action, but if you get hit by a melee, it doesn't cancel this. This makes it a lot more fun to press. And to the right, we have Clash. Just below Clash, we have Shadow Boxing, Treads, Blackout Kicks, damage is increased by 20%, and strikes an additional 2 targets. Or you can choose to have Blackout Kicks reduce cooldown reduced by 1 second, and its damage increase by 10%. In purely single targets, you're going to take Fluidity of Motion. In any AoE scenario where you have Mythic Plus or anything, Shadow Boxing Threads is just going to be too good to leave up. To the left of the second node of Zen Meditation, we have Strength of Spirit. Expels harm. Healing is increased by up to 200% based on your missing health. And we have Guy Plin's, I'm butchering that name, Imperial Brew. We're just going to call it Imperial Brew. Purifying Brew instantly heals you for 25% of the purified stagger damage. Yes, I think that it's going to be as good as it sounds. Awesome. Purifying Brew's second charge. Very nice to see there. And to the left, we have Breath of Fire, which I think is a little weird that you spec into Celestial Flames before you spec into Breath of Fire. Although, for Celestial Flames, it doesn't necessarily say that you have to have Breath of Fire. It just kind of automatically does it, so there could be some sort of play there. We'll see. Below Breath of Fire, we have a choice node of Scalding Brew, which Keg Smash deals an additional 20% damage to those affected by Breath of Fire. And Sal Salabim's Strength. Oh god, I hope I pronounced that correctly. When you use Keg Smash, the remaining cooldown of Breath of Fire is reset. To the right of that, we have Fortifying Brew. Fort Brew increases stagger effectiveness by 15% while active. I don't know if this is an increase of 5% from the 10% that you already get, or if it's an extra 15 to make it 25 total with the other talent points. That's something we're going to have to see. Because it says it does combine with other Fort Brew effects, but sometimes those wordings can be a little bit weird. Then we have Black Ox Brew, 2-minute cooldown. Is what it is on live, and we have Bob and Weave. Another good talent choice node there. I like it. We have the Black Ox, Invoke Nizao, is coming back. Very nice to see. Light Brewing, or the Training of Nizao. So Light Brewing is what it is currently on live, which reduces the cooldown of Purifying Brew and Celestial Brew by 20%. Very good choice to take. And then we have Training of Nizao. Gain up to 15% mastery based on your current level of stagger. Two very, very good options there, depending on what you need or want. I'm just going to pick Light Brewing because it was the first one up there. Shocking Blow, which is not yet implemented. Crackling Jade Lightning deals 40% less damage and has a cost of 40 energy, but is now instant, and causes your next Blackout Kick against the target to shock them, dealing additional nature damage. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a super huge fan of this one. Not like... Adding Crackling Jade Lightning into a DPS rotation is just going to create more button bloat, and if the damage is too good to pass up on this, you're just going to be adding a lot more GCDs to your rotation, which already has quite a few GCDs in it to kind of really work in and balance out. So, not a super big fan of this one, but we'll have to see how it feels gameplay-wise. And then we have Facepalm to the right, finishing off the middle row. Tiger Palm has a 50% chance to deal 200% normal damage and reduce the remaining cooldown of your brews by an additional 1 second. Alright, so we're going to go back to the left here and finish off the fire side of the tree. Dragon, you have a choice node of Dragonfire Brew. After using Breath of Fire, you breathe fire 2 additional times, each dealing a smaller attack power version of that fire damage, and Breath of Fire's damage is increased by up to 100% based on your level of stagger. There's a lot of DPS options in here that are going to be able to help out and be able to be min-maxed by good brewmasters that know how to manage their stagger, and I really like that. There's a lot of things here that, you don't need that masterful level of stagger, but if you have it, you're going to gain so much more, and I really like that about this tree. And then we have Charred Passions. Your Breath of Fire, I'm sorry, this isn't a legendary, this is currently a talent. Charred Passions is the legendary, that's my bad. I totally feel and like I said, coffee, morning, fix, yeah, let's go. Your Breath of Fire ignites your right leg in flame for 8 seconds, causing your Blackout Kick and Spinning Crane Kick to deal 100% additional damage as fire damage, and refresh your Breath of Fire on the target. There is definitely some fire shenanigans that's going to be happening with Brew that I am so excited to try out. I honestly hope that that fire spin kick build is going to be fun. I think managing a breath of fire that you can constantly refresh, or just dealing a lot more, and then managing stagger. I think these are two. I think Charred Passions and Dragonfire Brew are both really. It's a really good choice node. It really is. It makes you think about how you want to play, how you're taking damage, right? Because if you're not in any kind of prog scenario, and you're not taking much damage, you might just want to take Charred Passions. But if you're in higher keys and you're constantly at, a high yellow, low red stagger, Dragonfire Brew could definitely be pumping out, and it would pair very nicely and synergistically with the Training of Nizao. Now, just because we got the Training of Nizao, does that mean High Talons is gone? No, it doesn't. Stagger is more effective at delaying damage, 2% more effective, 4% at 2 talent points, but you also gain... Ooh, that was nerfed. It's coming back, but it's coming back in a nerf state, is you gain up to 10% haste based on your current level of stagger. This used to be 15, and it's 5 and 10 for 2 points. So, interesting there. The Walk with the Ox is coming back. That is currently a Soul Conduit. Abilities that grant Shuffle reduce the cooldown of Invoke Nizao by 0.3 seconds, and Nizao Stomp deals additional damage based on that level of stagger. Elusive Footwork is coming back because Elusive Brawler is coming back. Blackout Kick deals an additional 5% damage. Blackout Kick critical hits grant an additional stack of Elusive Brawler. Anvil and Stave. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses you, the remaining cooldown of your brews is reduced by a total of 1 second with 1 second with a total of 2 for a total of 2 talent points. I really like this. This doesn't sound like, when you're reading this doesn't sound sexy, but this is going to be one of those things in practice. It has a 3-second internal cooldown, by the way, but it's going to be very sexy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Counter-Strike. Ooh, yeah, this one's a whole chef's kiss. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses you, your next Tiger Palm or Spinning Crane Kick deals 100% additional damage. Oh, you get a Counter-Strike on a Dragon's Fire Brew, or what is it here? You take Celestial Flames, Charred Passions, 200, stupid amounts of Breath of Fire spinny kick damage. Man, that sounds fun. Not gonna lie, that sounds crazy fun. Over to the left here, we're gonna go down the capstone, so we'll do middle. Bone Dust Brew is coming back. As far as I know, this kind of looks exactly what it is on live. And then below that, we have a talent choice of Bountiful Brew, so your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at the target's location. This is currently the legendary. And Attenuation, Bone Dust Brew, so you also have an option at the Conduit. Although I think a nerf Conduit from the 278 version that we have on live now, but that's completely fine. We did Walk with the Ox. Invoke Nizao, the Black Ox. Purifying stagger damage while Nizao is active increases the damage of Nizao's next stomp by 25% of the damage purified, split between all enemies. So this is kind of... It's 2 points to get what we kind of have now, so is what it is. I'm not going to go into that a little further. The capstone here is Storm Stout's Last Keg, which, God, I'm so happy to see this coming back. Although I would like to see this a little bit higher, but whatever. Exploding Keg, 1 minute cooldown. You hurl a flaming keg at the target's location, dealing a bunch of attack power fire damage to nearby enemies, causing your attacks against them to deal 20% of attack power additional fire damage, and causing their melee attacks to deal 100% reduced damage for the next 3 seconds. Could be good. Blackout Combo. Blackout Kick also empowers the next ability. There's a large list of abilities, so you use Blackout Kick, and then you choose which one you want, and you gain a bonus based on that one. Nice to see, but I mean, is what it is. And then we have Weapons of Order. Weapons of Order is coming back. The Kyrian ability. So Kyrian and Bone Dust Brew were definitely the 2 most popular covenants for Brewmaster in Dragonflight, so Dragonflight Shadowlands, so it's nice to see both of those coming back. And then we have a Call to Arms, which is the excuse me, the legendary for Kyrian, which will summon an Ox for 12 seconds when you hit Weapons of Order, or you can choose the Effusive Anima Accelerator. Activating a Kyrian ability reduces the cooldown. Now, as it sits here, They've taken Effusive Anima Accelerator and from a different spec, or what most of the specs have it as, because if I'm not mistaken, Brewmaster is 8 seconds per target affected, reducing the cooldown to minute 20 from 2 minutes. This at 20 seconds is not going to be worth taking. A minute 40 versus 2 minutes for one talent. There's so many good options here that it's not going to be worth. You'd probably want to go with Call to Arms if you're going to go down that Weapons of Order route. Route, whatever. Hey, wait. What are you doing? No, leave. What are you doing? I don't want to see you. No! Man, Windows Edge, what are you doing to me? I opened you once to re-download Google Chrome, and now you think you're it. All in all, I really, really like the Brewmaster tree. I think there's so many good things in here. The issue that I take with it is, as it kind of sits for tanks, there is the most amount of available talent points to spend at 50. There are 50 talent options, not talent options, but total points that could be spent in this tree, and you can only spend 30. That's a lot. That is so many. And I think they could reduce the bloat here a little bit and kind of help streamline some things. Although I think as a whole, it is insanely solid. It gives you a lot of options, a lot of defensive capabilities between the class and the spec tree that you can really talent into kind of how you want to play. There's good single target builds, there's good AoE fire builds, there's good, there's different ways to play, and I think Brewmasters of any level can find a lot of fun in this, right? And this seems like one of those specs now that a beginner can pick it up and have fun with the way they're designing this, but somebody who's mastered Brewmaster can get so much more crazy stuff out of it. And I really like that. Brewmaster is now officially rated very highly on my Dragonflight list. I can't wait to play it. One of the downsides that I've heard from this is there is some global bloat, some GCD bloat, where you have so many abilities. One of the things I heard is that some of the Brewmasters were taking Rising Sun Kick, but not even being able to press it because they just didn't have the GCDs to be able to press it because they had stuff come off cooldown, like, or Keg Smash come back up, or it felt clunky in the rotation, which could be a thing. I mean, Rising Sun Kick could be a little bit more single target based for Brewmaster, where you could opt for some different stuff where you're not hitting Spin and Crane Kick as much. There's definitely some options that you could kind of work around and work there. All in all, I love this tree. I think it's fantastic. I just think it's a tiny little bloated, but that's my opinion. Well, so let me know, what do you guys think about the Brewmaster tree? Is it good? Is it great? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What do you love? What did you love to see come back? Is there something that's gone that you would have liked to see on this tree? I would love to hear your comments down below. And as we are ending this video, I would like to take this time at the end of the video and thank my patrons. Thank you so very much for the support. Huge, again, I can't do it without people like you guys and people in the Discord and things like that. Thank you very much. Have a good one, and I hope you guys are excited for Dragonflight as much as I am. Bye!